The making of a poem. A poem is not necessarily made, woven, downloaded, if chosen. A poem is more or less channeled. But start with opening your heart. A poem can be recited or written. So begin, keyboard, paper or pen. A poem is a picture formed with words. The craft, turning words into art. A poem is created from an idea, an open heart, third eye, and start. Boom! Hey, I'm Thundercloud. Welcome to Chillin Tuesday. We have got a quite cold weather out there today here in Guyra. Yes, it's currently 3.8 degrees, but it feels like minus 1.3. Yesterday we had a few flurries of snow, but nothing major that settled down. Tomorrow's maximum is going to be 6 degrees here in Guyra with an overnight minimum of 1 degrees. So yeah, we are definitely in winter now. And then, that's tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday, 0 to 6, Friday, minus 1 to 7, Saturday, 0 to 10, Sunday, 0 to 10, Monday, 0 to 11, and Tuesday next week, minus 1 to 11. Whoa, we're into some lovely, crisp, fresh weather, and I'm nearly falling off my chair with excitement. All right, to get the show further on the road, you've just heard Making a Poem by yours truly, Thundercloud. And tonight's special, I'm going to be focusing on this wonderful songbird, Australian songbird, known as Mollie McNutt. Now, this book here was published in 2019 by Jane Laly, an academic historian, history lecturer at the University of New England in Armidale. She was researching the town of Hillgrove, which is a gold town, and come across Mollie McNutt. And so who was Mollie McNutt? So Jane stumbled upon the name Mollie McNutt while researching the town of Hillgrove, east of Armidale, New South Wales. As she researched, she discovered Mollie had a book of her poetry published, several newspapers carried her poetry and prose, and several poems were set to music. And the education department, whom she used to teach, included her works in the curriculum by way of magazines and newspapers for students. Born Mary, she was called Mollie in her mother's obituary, Mollie in her brother's obituary, Mollie in various notices in the newspaper, including death notices, and all of her literary works, unless it said M.E. McNutt, so I'll call her Mollie. This book was, as this book was about to go to press, she was informed about another book about Mollie has been released. Rita Young's The Road to Torrington, Remembering Mollie McNutt, tells Mollie was Mary's childhood nickname. A later file at the UNE Heritage Centre shows Rita Young has been researching Mollie for at least 4 decades. Well, how cool is that? All right, it's not known why it was at West Maitland that Mary Shaw was born in 1885. Her mother, Margaret, lived all her life in Armidale and was born there to Scottish immigrants in 1859, before the streets were even set out, making her one of the first European families in Armidale. Mollie's father, John, born in Scotland, was a carpenter, died in Armidale during an influenza epidemic in 1891. A news story from 1888, and that was the year that, Ned Kelly was hanged, shows there was a carpenter in the Armidale by the name of John Shaw. The newspaper notice which told of John's death mentions how respected he was. Mollie was 6.5 years old, and her brother, John Mackenzie Shaw, was about 3 years old, and James Mackenzie Shaw was about 1 year old. Mollie's family were involved with the Masonic and Oddfellow lodges, and lodge members may have had an influence on Mollie's upbringing. Mollie's father, uncle and husband were all members, and as you will read later, lodge members played a large role at her funeral. All right, so I'm going to read you one of her poems now first. So Molly became a teacher and married Mr. Andrew McNutt. Shining Golden. Shining golden as the sunlight, wattle trees are all in bloom. Winter days will soon be over, and the spring will greet us soon. The great round sun smiles down in gladness on his little children fair, sending sunbeams dancing downwards through the clear and balmy air. By and by the merry breezes will shake the wattle boughs aloft, scattering down their feathery blossoms on a golden carpet soft. And that was 1921, Shining Golden. It was published in the Nepean Times of Penrith on the 6th of August. The next one is called Wattle. And the lead in, like a couple of her poems, this one uses words like bands, showing Molly's Scottishness. Sweet Australian wattle in the bushland green, always in the springtime, are your blossoms seen? Drifts of feathery fern leaves, fluff of gleaming gold, telling of the sunshine coming days shall hold. Bush bands rifle armfuls of your golden store, while you laughing offer treasure trove for more. In the lovely ranges, how your sunny blooms flings o'er wildest gullies fragrant faint perfume. When no longer children, far away we roam, always shall the wattle bring us thoughts of home. And that was published in 1924, Wattle, in the Manila Express on the 5th of August. Now, a little bit more about Molly. Newspaper records show Molly attended Armidale Superior Girls' School from at least 1897, passed a music exam in 1898, and another in 1900. And in 1900, she was the 5th class's Girls' Ducks best student. Armidale National School, the only public school in town, became a superior school in 1886, with over 500 pupils in 1880. And in 1892, a separate superior girls' school was built on the same block of land, but with a picket fence to keep the boys and girls separated. It was a fine two-storey building made from Armidale blue bricks, built by G.F. Knott, who was responsible for other fine buildings in Armidale, such as the Catholic Cathedral and the site demolished. The school is now the staff car park of the Armidale City Public School. Superior schools offered additional lessons in the higher branches, and this may have been the sort of opportunity someone like Molly needed to embark on a career, as Armidale did not have a high school until 1919, and even then it was housed in the Superior School, which by then was called the District School. In 1901, 2 weeks short of her 16th birthday, Molly was appointed a probationary pupil teacher at Hillgrove Public School, approximately 20 miles from Armidale. This was a significant distance, and one article about Hillgrove said it could be a day's journey. Molly may have lived in the residence built for the headmaster and his family, as it was built with room for a servant and a pupil teacher. For 21 years, the headmaster of Hillgrove was Henry Tonkin, a man of grand ideas and actions, so it may be assumed he was a good role model for Molly. Some of Tonkin's initiatives included providing the pupils with a gymnasium, gardening activities, water, life-saving training, microscope work, and lantern shows, and an early form of audio-visual entertainment. This is much more than one would expect in a school for the children of miners. Those who gave glowing reports of Tonkin at his farewell include Andrew McNutt. Photographs of the 3 classrooms show them to be stimulating environments, and it looks like the photo displays on the wall are of the local area and were probably taken by Tonkin as part of his passion. When the pupil teacher scheme started in 1851, a person could become a pupil teacher once he or she had attained the age of 13. Any school with at least 50 pupils was eligible to take a pupil teacher. Soon after starting at Hillgrove, Molly was transferred to West Armidale Public School, now Drummond, as a pupil teacher. Soon after starting at Hillgrove, Molly was transferred to West Armidale Public School, now Drummond School, as a pupil teacher. I imagine it was a great relief for Molly and her family to return from the frontier town of Hillgrove. After sitting examinations in 1902, 3 and 4, she received a promotion, and these would have been important milestones. Young says that Molly's annual earnings went from a mere £24 in 1901 to £176 in 1909. At the time Molly entered teaching, there was a large pay difference between men and women, and a campaign to pay all teachers a fair wage was also begun. An Armidale newspaper in 1906 announced Molly had completed her course at Hurlstone, which would be an assistant at Riley Street, Surrey Hills, Waterloo. Young says Molly taught under the supervision of Miss Simpson, and I believe this to be Martha M. Simpson, pioneering educator who taught near Armidale and other locations. Molly's brother John also taught at Armidale Superior School and Business School. After working 10 years teaching, Molly left the workforce to marry fellow Hillgrove Public School Armidale Superior School teacher Andrew McNutt. Andrew had grown up in Hillgrove and attended Hillgrove Public School and was the son of the manager of one of the Hillgrove mines. Molly and Andrew married in Armidale at Molly's uncle's house, not surprisingly the Presbyterian Church, in April 1911. She took a honeymoon in Sydney, and until the marriage, Andrew had been teaching in Uralla, 15 miles south of Armidale. Molly resigned from teaching at Armidale Superior School at the end of March, although there was societal pressure for a woman to resign from the workforce on marriage. At least in the education department, it was not law. A talk Andrew gave to the Armidale District Teachers Association showed he was of a like mind of Molly. He said it was time Australian writers write less of racehorses and British things and more of wattle and native birds. He said, only when our children learn the Australian environment will they be ready to learn of overseas lands. So one more called Wattle. This is Silver Wattle. This poem was listed in the newspaper as Wattle, but in Molly's book it's called Silver Wattle. Now, silver spreading wattle, her golden crown uplifts, where sunbeams pass o'er shining grass, her fairy fragrance drifts. With graceful bowing movements, her golden tassels toss, and breezes sing her queen of spring, her silver sheen across. Those golden gleaming tassels of sunshine sheer were made by fairy power at springtide hour in bushland's greenest glade. But elves distilled the moonlight and bright stars' shimmering shine to form those sheaves of silvery leaves the fairy gold to twine. And fairy power is lent her, a subtle spell she throws. O'er rippling rills and purple hills her wafted whisper goes. It sets the birds a-thrilling, their ripple shakes and turns, and sweeter sings the gurgling spring mid feathery fronded ferns. Her beauty makes the bushland a fairy land in truth, sets hearts a-thrill and memory fills with glamour gleams of youth. The bushman, wattle loving, enjoys the scented gold, and busy folk mid-city smoke will pause where wattle's sold. All hail Australian wattle, thou fitting emblem flower, for this fair land with golden sands and golden sunshine dower. With bushmen golden-hearted and golden grain harvest store, and golden notes in bushbirds' throats, imprisoned evermore. Wattle, published in 1928 in Western Champion, on 9th of August. Now the next one I've got here is also called Wattle. It's called Wattle 2. It was published in the Examiner, Launceston, Tasmania on the 26th of August. The wattle is brave, for its golden bloom in here ere the cold winds go. The wattle is sweet with the bushland scent, that ere we are here we know. The wattle is shaking its golden drift, then list what it has to say. It's telling the birds and bees and us that summer is on the way. The wattle, besides, is Australia's flower. Then let us be loyal and true, each turning to others a sunny face. Be welcome, dear wattle, like you. And the next one is, well, let's move away from wattle, but it's still a flower song. Maybe sung to the air, Castles in the Air, which is a song I don't know. I love the wild bush flowers neath the forest tree that grow through the golden days of springtime when the wattle blossoms blow. When each fallen log you find is by hardened verdure twined, and Bosea's velvet bonnets are with sunshine satin lined. The shy wild violets hide every old grey rock beside, and the eager eyes of wee folk have the buttercups espied, while Gardenia's goblets gold crystal dew for fairies hold, and the time of day in bushland is by clocks of thistle told. Mollie McNutt, 1918, Songs of the Bushland. That's where it was published. Now, the next thing in the book here, the Mollie McNutt book, is The Legend of the Wattle, which is a sort of like a mythical story about Wattle. And I'm going to skip through that because we're just going to do some poetry tonight. I'll miss Buttercups, but the next one is Maiden Hair. Emerald leaflets shyly showing neath the stern old boulders growing, shrinking from the outer glare, feathery fronded maiden hair. Nooks that ne'er the sunbeams find with your tender green are lined, darksome clefts the rocks between from your tracery of green. Take a likeness and a grace, meet for fairies' trysting place, but your child loves find you there, fragile, fretted, Maiden Hair, 1929. Maiden Hair, published in the Richmond River Herald and Northern Districts Advertiser. A day of rain. The gums are tossing and twisting under a leaden sky, to see themselves in the gold-brown pools leaf-lined that beneath them lie. The wind that hath wantoned the night long goes sobbing and shuddering past. The hills are blurred to a soft pearl grey by the rain veil over them cast. And now the rain is like shimmering mist or a fairy fountain's spray, as a shining rift in the darksome cloud gleams silver against the grey. A truant sunbeam will too peep through, to be drowned in torrents of rain, as deeper and denser than e'er before, dark gathered the clouds again. Mollie McNutt, 1918, A Day of Rain. In the School Magazine, Volume 3, Number 8. And yes, I am wearing a hat, not just any hat. This is my high visibility Australian Poetry Hall of Fame bucket hat. Yeah, have a look at this. No, it's a great quality. Stitching inside, double stitching through here. And yeah, you can turn it inside out if you want as well and not have any logo. But it does come with this amazing Australian Poetry Hall of Fame Gyra logo. Yeah. What else have I got? Oh, yeah, the Australian Poetry Hall of Fame keyring. The Australian Poetry Hall of Fame keyring bottle opener, and the Australian Poetry Hall of Fame pen, all available here at the Australian Poetry Hall of Fame in Gyra. Well, I'll read you some more. Mollie McNutt now. This one's called The Little Breeze. A soft, shy breeze came through the trees, mid scent of flowers and boom of bees. and tossed into a sick child's room a sunbeam and a sweet perfume. He kissed the flowers and tossed the curls of rosy little laughing girls. He dried some washing sweet and white and helped a schoolboy sail a kite. He was not very big nor strong, and yet he helped the world along. The sick child smiled to smell the flowers, the clothes would dry before the showers. The kite flew high, loud laughed the boy, and sang the little breeze of joy. And that was published in the school magazine in 1920 on the 2nd of December. And so Mollie McNutt, she sent a lot of her poetry off to the school magazine that was circulated throughout New South Wales at the time. This next one is called My Next Door Neighbour, and this was published in Songs of Bushland in 1918. I watched my next door neighbour when summer skies were blue. Through sheen of fairy fabrics, her shining needle flew, and hopes and prayers and kisses were stitched in elfin seams. White fingers wove deft broideries to tune of happy dreams. With golden gleam the sunshine athwart her brown hair fell, and in her shining eyes grew the coming wonders spell. My heart grew hot with envy. Rebelliously I cried, why should she know the glory to me for aid denied? When autumn fields were brown, when autumn fields were golden, when autumn leaves were brown, a laughing star-eyed baby next door arrived in town. But alien fingers robbed it from fairy garments store, and for my next door neighbour, earth's griefs, earth's joys were o'er. My next door neighbour. A tale of babies and loss. This is very common back in the day. Infant mortality, as they call it, was quite high. This is interesting. A sponge's dreams, a sponge's memory. If the poem seems a little odd, remember people commonly bath using sea sponges. Today I splash in baby's bath while loud he laughs in glee. But once in fairyland below the shining sea, like quaintest rainbow-coloured plan our wondrous people be, I splash today in baby's bath. I dream of rocks and sea. Yeah, and so Molly never had any children, so anyway. Babe of dreams. The obvious longing is almost heartbreaking in this song, in this poem. Such a roguish, laughing girlie, rounded limbs of healthy brown, tangled curls now shine, now shadow, tumbling o'er her shoulders down. Big brown eyes, now wide with wonder, dancing now with childish glee. Wee warm clinging hands that hold me, lips that mother frame for me. Rippling trills of baby laughter, pitter-patter of tiny feet, scattered toys in dear disorder, lisping language quaint and sweet. You would like to see my darling? Think my household quiet seems? Ah, my laughing baby brown eyes only comes to me in dreams. Yeah, melancholy in its own way. And this is interesting because it's short, got short lines. It's called Dear Heart. I sat in dewy dusk go dark and watched the little stars embark upon the sky sea overhead, dream ships that fancies earthward. I dreamed a dream that came not true, for oh dear heart, I dreamed of you. I knelt within a sunlit room, all summer sweet with scent of bloom. I framed my heart's wish into prayer. But ah, the angels could not spare the boon I craved. It might not be, you see, dear heart. I prayed for thee. The next one is called The Babies. Could you sail across the sky sea in the silver shining moon? Could you climb the summer rainbow? You would be there as soon you would find past dream dominions made of joy and mist and tears, the land where all the babies wait love's longings through the years. There are babies of all nations, babies roguish, grave and gay, babies with sunny curls close clinging, babies with blue eyes brown or grey. But there's ne'er a fretful baby, cross or crying, sick or sad. They have never learned in Skyland to be anything but glad. Through the rifts in drifted cloudlets can those laughing babies look at our earth outspread beneath them like a wondrous picture book. As of fleecy clouds soft tinted, crowing merrily they creep, till they weary, then bright angels hush them with a song to sleep. But the ferry of the moon boat, all agleam with crystal spray, come the cradles spun by star phase on the wondrous Milky Way, till a mother heart in earthland craves a baby in a prayer, and earth's angels waft the message up the shining rainbow stair. Then a baby's guardian angel, all unseen with wings outspread, brings her treasure, starry cradled, to an earthland cosy bed. And when people of the earthland cry, "Oh, see the falling star," 'tis a dear new baby's cradle that is coming from afar. While the angel puts the baby softly on the snow-white bed, from the star that fell from heaven, love's pure light is gently shed. Prince and peasant both have seen it, where a new-born baby lies, and it stays to shine forever right within the mother's eyes. You could climb the radiant rainbow past the land of dreams and dew, or go sailing in the moonboat. You would find my story true, but without an expedition to the land where babies are, you can see them cradled coming, see the love light from the star. It's The Babies from 1912, published in the Sydney Mail on the 11th of December. Next one, The Close of Day. Sunset glow in the western sky, someone crooning a lullaby, lashes drooping o'er sleepy eyes, bright and blue as summer skies, rose leaf cheek against the pillow pressed, dimpled mischievous hands at rest, baby is falling asleep. Someone moves with a gentle tread, gathering the toys on the floor outspread. Tiny garments are placed away, quite succeeds the noise of day. Dreamland fairies their treasures bring, dreamland songsters their sweet songs sing. Babies smiles in his sleep. Moonlight rays through the curtains peep, bedclothes lie in a tangled heap. Wee hands clutching the pillow tight, baby riding a dreamland sprite. Someone breathing an earnest prayer, may my treasure rest in the Father's care, whether he wake or sleep. Baby's Bedtime is the next one. Gee, Molly really did have a yearning for babies, didn't she? But no, I guess that's why she never had one, so she just wrote about them. Baby's Bedtime. Soft as down and white as snow, fairy sheets and pillow low, wee warm blankets deftly spread, cosy nest, 'tis baby's bed. Lisping words from baby lips, close pressed rosy fingertips. Father, keep me in thy care, mother prompting baby's prayer. Witching music sweet and low, lullabies of long ago. Silken lashes droop ere long, that was baby's slumber song. Happy sleep that we folk know. Noise all hushed and lights turned low. All a mother's heart felt bliss, thrills through baby's goodnight kiss. And that's also from Songs of Bushland in 1918. So this was called Old Times and New, and the grandmother in this poem was Mary Ann Mackenzie, Mollie's maternal grandmother, not her paternal grandmother, because Mollie's father came out from Scotland alone. So, me, but times are sadly changed since the days of long ago, says Grandma in her easy chair, in flickering violet glow. Maids hen at home were well content to bake and brew and sew. There was no gadding here and there in days of long ago. The girl beside the window smiles. 'Twas but the other day that in a long forgotten chest she found a brave array of old world gowns of silk and sheen, a painted fan, a shoe, some yellow faded valentines, old letters tied with blue. Nay, tell me, Gran, of Halloween and all its mystic ways, of harvest home and May Day dance in those same olden days. Ah, lads were braw and lasses fair in summer twilights long, and all unconsciously she hums a half-forgotten song. The girl beside the window smiles, a well-known step she hears, and Grandma is lost in dreams of happy bygone years. He kissed her once, he kissed her twice, I shall not tell her ye more. The times have changed, but love remains as in the days of yore. Yeah. The next one I've got for you is called The Little Puritan. Could the puritanical old maid in the story be Mollie's maternal aunt, Elizabeth, a nurse and hard worker for the church, perhaps? I met a little Puritan, 'twas at a fancy ball of silver grey, her quaint array with soft white muslin shawl, and ruffled cap where ne'er a scrap of colour showed at all, the most demure of maids for sure in all that festive hall. I asked the little Puritan, might mine the pleasure be? With serious face and old world grace, she dropped a courtesy, a soft, shy palm upon my arm she placed most solemnly, and in such guise with downcast eyes, she crossed the floor with me. On fairy feet to music sweet she danced and swung and swayed. Her hair was tossed, her cap was lost, her eyes her joy betrayed. Through roguish curls, a queen of girls, she laughed, a mischief made. I tell that little Puritan, she now belongs to me. I'm much afraid that she betrayed the trysts of history. Fissure, she cries, me roguish eyes, a maid must be, and every little Puritan at heart was just like me. All right, the piano, a dark poem. She sat at the old piano, a girl in a shabby gown, and drifting in at the window came the hum of the busy town, a hum that was lost in the music of a wild bird's note at dawn and swelled into forest chorus, a jubilant song of morn. The ripple of childish laughter slipped forth from the ivory keys. She swayed under blossomed branches to the song of the summer seas. The passionate plaint of lovers was felt in the changing strain and died in the witching murmur of a lullaby refrain. She sat at the old piano while the world outside went by, and the music soared triumphant, and she reared her castles high, and art was to be her goddess, and hers the reward of fame. Yet the man at her side made music of her softly spoken name. A woman plays in the twilight, a theme in a minor key, and the sadness that underlies it is her own life's history. For many may be the gifted, but few to the heights attain, and youth and love's far all fame above were the price that she paid in vain. Ah, me for the disillusions, the wisdom the long years bring, the knowing that enters only by the gates of suffering. Forgiveness there is for sinning, and know though your tired heart breaks, with bitter tears through the weary years shall you pay for your mistakes. So the next one, our next section of the book is Bush, Schools and Home. The first one is The Quarrel. It's about two little schoolgirls. You'll quickly learn that. Two little maidens fell out one day, angrily turned from each other's way. Such little friends they'd been, you see. Soon they were sorry as they could be. Neither was ready to own the blame. Daily the trouble still worse became. School lessons suffered, and so one day two little girls were debarred from play. Someone who came to the schoolroom door smiled as if pleased at the sight she saw, ripples of gold mixed with curls of brown. Two little heads on the desk laid down, tiptoed away with a radiant face, leaving them happy in their disgrace. The Quarrel, published in the Australian Worker, October the 16th, or the Australian Worker, 1919, yeah. Okay, so I found the one that I wanted to do. This is in honour of Sky, because Sky does a lovely version of this. So here we go. Buttercups. Like fetid sunbeams glowing on slender shafts of green, with shy spring breezes blowing their shining heads between. The buttercups are dancing adown the bushland ways, with golden glory glancing. They've set the world ablaze, abrim with golden sunshine, a shine with crystal dew. Each bloom's a flowery gold mine, with treasure trove for you. Oh, brown bees honey making, where burnished petals part, there's store of sweets for taking in every golden heart. In each curved petal holden, the sunshine gold is fast. And the memories olden, they bring from out the past. Gold dower of this and far lands. The little children's flowers, we gathered them for garlands in children's golden hours. And still through sunny play hours, I hear the children shout, "Who'll come a-gathering wildflowers? The buttercups are out." And "Who likes butter?" calling, while weaving jewelled chains, mid gum tree shadows falling in grassy bushland lanes. Ah, buttercups of bushland, how you my heart enthrall. Your beauty gems the grassland, where'er my footsteps fall. And to you gaily growing, I bring this meed of praise. Fair buttercups are blowing through glad October days. A beautiful poem that's dedicated to Sky Campen, of course, the famous poet Sky. Here we go. This one's called King of the Frost. Through sapphire dusk of starry skies, all noiselessly the Frost King hies, unseen unto the world below, his elfin handiwork to show. And where the brown earth shivering grieves, a glistening mantle for her weaves, of dewdrops fashions diamond dust, and shakes it with a sudden gust of wintry wind across her dress, of gleaming ice blue loveliness. For jewels icicles he'll give, where water sprites in prison live. He lays his fingers on the rills, and all their laughing music stills. Then on our window panes, I ween, the royal artist's touch is seen. the world of white which he hath made in duplicate for us arrayed, of hill and dale and mountain lake and forest trees and thorny brake. But soon his busy reign is o'er, till night shall spread her wings once more. The wonder web he'll wrought with toil becomes the saucy sunbeam's spoil. Yet still he smiles in calm content, to know in Arctic realms are pent his towering strongholds, glistening cold with all their wonders manifold, where even seas are frozen dumb, and half the year ne'er knows the sun. That's actually pretty cool. The King of the Frost. I really like that one. That's very cool. Jack Frost and the buds. Oh, old Jack Frost, the wee buds teasing, cried, "Come out, not fear of freezing. Doff your cosy coats of brown. I'm just off to London town." But spring fairies whispered, "Wait, when you're nipped, 'twill be too late to regret our kindly caution. Spoiled dead leaves will be your portion." Laughed most all the wee buds gay. "Thank you, Jack, we'd rather stay in our coverings, cuddling tight till we are sure you're out of sight, till the birds and breezes sing how you run away from spring." Very cross was Jack and surly. Soon some foolish buds too early from their wrappings peeping out, did he sharply put to rout with his cruel fingers cold, as the fairies had foretold. But the wise wee buds who waited as the fairies had dictated, heard the sunshine-laden breeze calling to them through the trees. "Now spring's here, and soon we're seen, all unpack their leaflets green." That's very cool. That is very cool. Jack Frost and the buds. That is very, very cool. I like that a lot. That's a very nice poem. It's a pleasant poem, I should say. Jewels. Oh, once I read of priceless jewels flashing with their hidden fire, poured entrance o'er tales of treasure, gems a queen might well desire. Blood-red rubies, warmly glowing, lustrous diamonds, radiant lights, dusky pearls and glistening sapphires of the old Arabian Nights. Often in my childish fancy did these gems my fingers lave, how I dreamed of finding treasure hidden in some darksome cave. And my dreams have found fruition, jewels rich and rare have I, but my casket's just the bushland spread beneath a sapphire sky. Not the gems of all the Incas with my treasure trove could vie, not such wealth of light and colour Eastern legends can supply. Never colour scheme like parrots grew upon the Persian looms. Never did yet opal rival the bee-eater's wondrous plumes. There's the blue wren's shining feathers for my Lapu's lazuli. There's the flash of living emeralds, busy greenkeats flying by. Gorgeous the Australian roller, garbed in pearl and amethyst. Cockatoos and honey-eaters add their gold crowns to the list. Topaz rare in silver setting drift across the evening sky. Grey galahs all rosy-breasted as in companies they fly. Glows the probins, breast like jacinth, fairer than the olivines. The gay plumage of kingfishers, iridescent blues and greens. But the best of all my jewels are their living gems of song, stabbing to one's heart with beauty in the memory lingering long. Golden notes athrob with music, silver showers of melody, till the sights and sound of bushland merge in one grand harmony. It's a great writer, Mollie McNutt. And the final one is called Love. And I think I'm going to dedicate this to Sky Campen. love. We dreamed of love upon a day, our dreams made wondrous showing, albeit of stuffs too rich and rare for winter winds a blowing. For they were sown with jewels bright, with beauteous imagery bedight, in gorgeous colourings blazoned bright on fabrics rich and glowing. But love has need for none of these, else were it naught but seeming, and real love transcends indeed the dearest of our dreaming. It takes the sombre hodden grey, the bittersweet of every day, and lo, beside the common way, a radiant rainbow gleaming. So, yeah, this word bedight means it adorned. So it's for they were sown with jewels bright, beauteous with beauteous imagery bedight, with beauteous imagery bedight. And that was again published in Songs of the Bushland. Let me choose one more random one. Let's go right to the back of the book, and it's called To My Husband. My window gives in the dusty road where the wagon creaks neath its groaning load, and the children scamper barefoot round the sturdy bends of the mining town. But I glimpse in the distance the mountains blue, splintered by gorges through and through, and I crave with a longing akin to pain for the dear lost joys of the bush again. I long for the gorges dim and cool, for the spray-wet rocks and the moss-rimmed pool, at the foot of the lonely waterfall where the creek slips down and the lyrebirds call, for the fondled ferns and the trailing vines and the bridal wreaths and the clematis twines, for the bushland ways that we used to know and the zest in life of the long ago. I know that today in those circling hills her golden treasure the wattle spills, that petals are drifted like fragrant snow where heath bells swing and the snow blooms blow, that wild birds sing through the golden hours and bush and bracken are bright with flowers, and humbled homes in their midst are set like the rough little dwelling I can't forget. Was ever the trail that we found too long when we trod it together with laugh and song? Was ever the task that we would not try, so we faced it together, you and I? Do you blame me then that I heart sick yearn? Oh, the dear dead days that shall ne'er return. They wonder I cling to the bushland so, but my beloved, they do not know. Yeah, that's a very romantic poem, that one, about, and I can really um, empathize with her because I know like that area. She was talking about Hillgrove, which is over like the other side of Armidale, but there's like the whole gorge out there in the Yarra River, and it's absolutely beautiful. And I've been out walking there with Sky, and I get why Sky loves it too. Really, she loves that area a lot, and I do as well. And I see why Mollie McNutt really, 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 really loved it. All right, well, I'm Thundercloud, and it's the end of Chillin Tuesday and the Mollie McNutt special. So if you've liked this, make sure you've given it a thumbs up and you've shared it on your feed to whoever you can. Leave a comment, please. Tell me what was your favourite poem. Yeah, why not? Because then it helps with the metrics and it gets it out there to other people, because I don't like purposely advertise on these or what. All right, I'm Thundercloud. That's Mollie McNutt. Not all of her stuff, but quite a lot of it. I hope you've enjoyed it. Dedicated, of course, to Mollie McNutt, Make Mollie Great Again, and of course also Sky Campen, who is also making Mollie great again. I'm Thundercloud. I'll see you tomorrow night for Wednesday Words.